It was a bright Monday morning. The bell had just rung, and the students of Class UNB hurried into their seats, buzzing with laughter and chatter, knowing well that today was different because a new teacher was about to step into their world. Among the students sat three boys at the back: Rihan, Samir, and Faizan, the notorious trio feared and despised by many. They were the bullies, the self-proclaimed kings of the classroom, who took pride in humiliating others and breaking spirits. For them, a new teacher was like fresh prey, someone to test, to tear apart, and to show the entire class that no authority could ever control them. As the classroom door creaked open, in walked Mr. Ayan, tall, calm, and surprisingly young for a teacher. His presence was composed, his face carried a quiet confidence, and his eyes scanned the class with an almost fatherly patience. The whispers spread instantly. "The new teacher's here," but Rihan smirked and whispered to his friends, "I won't last a week." With a quiet smile, Mr. Ayan placed his register on the desk and began roll call. Names were called, students responded, and the classroom settled into rhythm until Mr. Ayan's footsteps carried him closer to the bully's corner. Rihan's eyes gleamed with mischief, and before anyone could predict it, he reached out and grabbed the teacher's neatly pressed shirt pocket and yanked it with sudden force. The sound of fabric tearing echoed through the silence. Gasps filled the room, and then came the laughter, loud, cruel, uncontrolled. Samir clapped mockingly. "Sir, nice fashion! You're already trending." Faizan leaned forward, tears of laughter in his eyes. "New teacher, new style! This is a show!" The class roared with laughter, some too scared to stop, some too weak to resist peer pressure. Everyone expected anger, shouting, perhaps punishment. But what happened next silenced them all. Mr. Ayan didn't yell, didn't flinch, didn't even scold. He looked down at the torn fabric, touched it gently, and then slowly lifted his head with the faintest of smiles. "Do you think tearing clothes can tear a person's respect?" he asked softly. The laughter stopped instantly. His voice was calm, but it carried weight that none could ignore. The trio froze, unsure of what game this teacher was playing. Mr. Ayan closed the register, walked to the chair, and sat down slowly, looking at the class with piercing eyes. "Today's first lesson," he said, "will be about respect." His tone wasn't angry, it was firm, almost like a storyteller about to unfold something unforgettable. The classroom leaned in unconsciously, pulled by his presence. "When I was your age," he began, "I too was laughed at. I too was mocked for what I wore, for being poor, for being quiet. I had classmates who thought making fun of me made them stronger, more important. But I learned something very early: clothes can tear, shoes can break, money can vanish, but a man's dignity lives inside him. And when you try to destroy someone's dignity, you only expose the weakness of your own soul." His words struck deeper than any punishment could. Some students shifted uncomfortably in their seats, a few lowered their eyes in shame. Even Rihan, who never cared about teachers, found himself staring blankly, not able to mock back. Mr. Ayan continued, sharing moments of his own struggle, days when he had no food, nights he studied under a street lamp because his home had no electricity, mornings when he wore the same faded shirt again and again and still faced laughter. "But I never broke," he said firmly. "And that is why I stand here today, not as a victim but as your teacher. Remember, tearing clothes doesn't make you powerful. Respect is not something you can steal or destroy. Respect is what you give, and in giving you earn it back." The classroom was dead silent. A few students' eyes glistened with unshed tears. The bullies looked at each other, uncomfortable for perhaps the first time. Mr. Ayan's words had cut deeper than their cruelty ever could. As the bell rang, signaling the end of roll call, Mr. Ayan stood up and added, "Think about what you've done today. Think about what kind of person you want to be. You can either build respect or spend your life begging for it." His gaze lingered on the three bullies before he turned away. They said nothing, their laughter long gone, replaced by a strange tightness in their chest. For the rest of the day, the class couldn't stop replaying the morning scene. Something was different about this teacher, something unshakable, and deep down even the bullies knew. This was not the end. This was the beginning of a lesson they would never forget. And dear viewers, if you're feeling the power of Mr. Ayan's words, imagine what happens next when the bullies are forced to face their own downfall. Don't miss it. Make sure you subscribe now so you don't lose the second chapter of this life-changing story.